Hi, I'm Vivi, and I live in China. So earlier this year, I decided to give recruiting another try after being away from it for over 10 years. Back then, I did recruiting work for about 3 years, and by the end of it, I already feel very frustration with the job. Lately, the job market has been really bad, and I haven't been able to find a stable job for a long time. So I thought, okay, maybe I should give it another try. This time, I decided to try international recruiting online. And at first, I really thought it might be better. But after just 1 month, I already felt burnout. So yeah, I just want to talk about what happened. Once I made that decision, I started to looking around for opportunities. First, I interviewed with a local recruiting company here in my city. They mainly worked on robotics jobs, so everything was super technical and specialized. I thought it would be more like a flexible freelance recruiting job. I already knew there would be no basic salary since a lot of remote recruiting job work on commission only. The split was 50%. But then they told me they still want me to go into the office every day for the first 3 months for training. No basic salary, no social insurance, nothing. That was the part that really started to bother me. And most of the work was just mapping and cold calling. I really hate cold calling. So I gave up on that pretty quickly. Then later, I came across another opportunity on Xiaohongshu or Red Note. I guess that's what people call it now. So it was a recruiting platform where freelance recruiters could take cases and earn commissions. At first, I was actually pretty excited. The commission was way higher than I used to get years ago. Back then, I usually got 30 to 40%, but on this platform, it started at 50%. And if you did really well, it could go up higher to 80%. The platform had both local jobs in China and international ones, but pretty quickly I decided to focus on mostly international recruiting. And even though these were overseas positions, most of the clients were still Chinese companies. Usually, they were Chinese companies trying to expand overseas and hire people locally in places like the United States, Europe, Mexico, Brazil, and the African countries. That felt more interesting to me. I really don't want to do local recruiting in China again. The competition here is just way too intense, and from my own experience years ago, a lot of positions turn out to be unreliable anyway. So in the end, I decided to focus on the international recruiting instead. The biggest problem pretty much showed up immediately. For international recruiting, LinkedIn is basically everything. I've had my LinkedIn account for more than 10 years. I always thought that would be my advantage. I was wrong. First of all, you need a VPN to use LinkedIn in China. And if your VPN connection keeps dropping, LinkedIn starts acting weird too. But the real problem starts after just a few days for searching candidates. Suddenly, my account got restricted. I could only see the first three search results. That basically made it impossible to do recruiting anymore. So I tried using Google instead, searching people through keywords and jumping into their LinkedIn profile. Technically, it worked, but honestly, it was painfully slow. Then I tried making a second LinkedIn account. After a few days later, that account got banned because of the IP issue. After that, I spent days emailing LinkedIn trying to get it back, and I also looked into paying for LinkedIn Premium. But LinkedIn officially left mainland China in 2023, so there's no direct way to pay for it here anymore. A lot, a lot of people on Xiaohongshu said you could use third-party payment service, but a lot of people also said their account got banned after doing that because the credit card name didn't match the LinkedIn account name. I just didn't want to risk my account that I used for many years. And what made me even more frustration was this. Even if you successfully pay for a premium, LinkedIn can still restrict your account even if you search too much. LinkedIn has apparently become really sensitive about scraping, especially from China. And to be fair, there are some people in China extracting and selling LinkedIn data online. But I was manually searching maybe like 50 to 60 profiles a day, and I still got flagged. In the end, I never really solved the LinkedIn problem. I just kept trying to work around it. At the same time, I was also spending a huge amount of time on US positions, and almost every US jobs I saw had the same problem. The companies only wanted people who already had a green card or US citizenship. None of these Chinese companies wanted to sponsor visas. Most of the time, they specifically wanted overseas Chinese candidates because the employee usually had to communicate directly with the company's headquarters in China. There were few positions open to non-Chinese candidates too, but those were definitely the minority. That requirement alone already eliminated a huge number of people. Some of these jobs weren't even in places with large Chinese communities like California or New York. Even were some were in smaller cities, which made the candidate pool even smaller. So I spent a long time searching on LinkedIn, and in the end, I didn't successfully place a single person. But all that time just disappeared. After that, I started focusing on more positions in Mexico and Brazil. One Chinese machinery company was hiring for several jobs in Mexico. One of them was pretty low-level local position. They mainly wanted someone local with basic English skills. The salary wasn't very attractive, so it was kind of hard to find people through LinkedIn. Then I contacted a Mexican friend of mine that I actually pretty close with, and asked him to help me post the jobs in Spanish on local platforms. Within just a few days, we got flooded with applications. A lot of them was actually pretty good. So my friend and I spent a lot of time screening resumes, talking to candidates, and writing recommendation reports. And then I submitted several candidates to the platform. The platform kept telling me this position was very urgent and very reliable. So I really thought this one might finally work out. So then we waited. 2 weeks passed. The project manager kept saying we needed to wait for the Chinese general manager in Mexico to come back before interview could start. I even suggested doing online interview first. Apparently that wasn't a choice. Then another week passed. They finally told me the position was on hold. The reason was basically that the branch office was still new, business wasn't busy yet, and they didn't actually need the position right now. That really frustrated me. For the client, it was easy. They just posted the job. But for us, once we started working on it, we could spend days or even weeks searching for people, talking to the candidates, and screening resumes, working on the report. And after we submitted the candidates, the clients actually already had all the contact information anyway. So if they suddenly decided they didn't want the position anymore, there was basically nothing we could do. All that time was just wasted. The Brazil position felt pretty much similar. Again, the job sounded urgent, and again, nothing really happened. There was one more thing that happened. I think this is also typical in headhunting. Later, I worked on another position in Mexico. This time is for a much more senior role. I contacted a candidate who was living in Mexico, and we agreed to have a video call that Saturday. But before the call, she had already sent her resume to another recruiter. That recruiter had already submitted her to the platform, and she didn't tell me that. So I spent about half an hour on video call with her, and another half an hour organizing her information and writing the recommendation report. But when I tried to upload it, the platform told me that she already been submitted. So I couldn't submit her again. That was how headhunting works. whoever submitted first wins. It doesn't matter who actually spent more time talking to the candidates. Later, I found out that the recruiter who submitted her first didn't even have a real conversation with her. Maybe they just added her on WeChat, exchange a few messages, and submit her right away. So some recruiters basically use AI to write messages and submitted the candidates as fast as possible, and then let the platform's project manager handle the rest. And honestly, this was partly my mistake too. I should have asked her upfront whether she had already sent her resume to another recruiter for the same position. But for some reason, I just didn't even think about it. Maybe because she was already in her 40s and she seemed very professional and mature. I just assumed that she would know that being submitted by multiple recruiters for the same position usually doesn't help at all. But apparently, she didn't think that way. After that, I just felt even more tired of the whole thing. So yeah, after all of that, I quit. The LinkedIn issues were already exhausting enough. And then a lot of overseas positions I worked on either felt extremely difficult to fill or just never really moved forward after I found the right candidates. A lot of jobs looked urgent at first, but later either disappeared or got delayed or suddenly went on hold. After a while, I started to feel like I was spending huge amounts of time and energy on things that were completely out of my control. This whole experience reminded me why I left headhunting 10 years ago. That feeling never really changed. That's basically my experience with international recruiting in China this year. And just to be clear, I'm not saying this platform is bad. Some recruiters there are actually doing really well, especially those people based overseas. This is just my own experience. And actually, I'm really curious about something. If you work in recruiting or headhunting in your country, do you run into similar situations? Please feel free to share your experience in the comments. In my next video, I probably talk about my 3 years doing domestic headhunting in China about 10 years ago. Some of the things I went through back then were even more ridiculous. There were times when I felt completely manipulated and used by HR people and the clients. And there was also another case where I actually completed a placement, got my commission, and then later somehow I had to give the money back. That experience stayed with me for a really long time. Okay, I'm Vivi, and this is my new channel. If you're interested in real stories about life, work, relationships, and living in China, feel free to subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye.